Yo, the prince got fucking wrecked in this episode. Like, did you see that? Like, he got beat the fuck up in this episode, guys. Like, it just goes to show that you cannot mess with Japan. Like, Gate Season 2, it just shows that these people, this kingdom, like, should not mess with Japan. Just looking at the way the prince got beat up and, like, the whole imperial, like, army, like, the whole, like, the people that was there, how they got wrecked by this one person. It just shows the power that the SDF has over this kingdom. Like, you can basically wreck this whole kingdom with like 5 people, 8 at max. Like, you can wreck this whole kingdom. Like, you see the girl, like, she goes against everybody just with one gun. With one gun. When they find out that he had prisoners, this prince, this guy who was a rapist. This prince who was a rapist, who was a douchebag, who was basically the version of a dick. Like, because he think he's royalty, he think he's next in line, that he can get away with anything he wants to, from killing people, raping people, pushing people out the way. Like, yo, they come back to the kingdom. Pina and Q come back to the kingdom after this earthquake because, you know, the aftershocks. And you see the prince just like, get out of my way, pushing the SDF member. The SDF's like, okay. And then they see the slave. They lose their shit, yo. They just like, wait, you have a slave? You a slave to our people? Like, this is a Japanese person. She's Japanese. And so they heard her talk Japanese. They went white after them. Like, you see the girl, she put on her fucking gloves. Like, she put on her fucking gloves and she was ready to, she was, boom, boom. I'm like, damn. That was by far one of the best parts of this episode, guys. Like, Gate Season 2, I feel that it's like, it's deeper. And it's more like, it's deeper than Season 1, and it's like more, it's just like more deep, you know. It's just like it has these darker themes, and just like it's just about getting this just done, like the reality of war. That prince, his face, I don't want my face to ever look like the prince's, but like, to go on, the prince was saved from getting beat up no more than he already have, just by the sheer fact that this bunny girl, the bunny girl from last episode, I believe it's the bunny girl from last episode, if I'm not mistaken. That's the bunny girl who was getting raped, or who wasn't really raped, but she was like, didn't want the prince to have sex with her because he was being too rough. Now, I think that since she came to save him, I don't know if she has an alternative motive, because it looks like she's either planning, she like 2 different routes. Either like she planning something bigger, or she has Stockholm Syndrome. You know what Stockholm Syndrome is. If you don't know what it is, it's when you have a kidnapper or a prisoner, somebody imprisoned them, and they start to develop relationships, or they start to have feelings, or feel of protecting their kidnapper or their capturer. So if I was to kidnap one of y'all in the audience, then like I would brutally beat you and things like that, and then people come to save you. But then you start to have one of these, you know, you start having relations, like feelings for me, and you really don't want to leave because like now you feel like you owe everything to the person who kidnapped you. So I think this bunny girl in this episode is basically this is going on with this bunny girl in this episode, right? And then we actually get a glimpse into like the political, not the political, but kind of like the political aspect of this episode of Gate, like the brother. The prince is like next in line. Pix Bardo, or whatever his name is, he's next in line. But then we have the little brother, little prince, who's like smarter. And the older prince just say, you know, you either gotta pick me or my father to back up. Because my father, he's gotta retire, he's old, but he doesn't want to stay away from power. So he might use me as a puppet, like he might be a puppeteer. Use me as a puppet to basically take control of the kingdom once again after he's retired. And then some person's like, yeah, I see you like you're eyeing the throne. You want the throne because you're smarter. You're the smarter one. And basically that shows that he's very control. And then he even marks Pina as a traitor because Pina was defending the SDF. Remember, Pina and the SDF has good relation. Like their relationship is like not like this, but it's like really close to the point like versus like enemy and opponent. Like she backs up the SDF because SDF have helped out a lot of times, and me seeing that, I'm just like, yes, but now she can be considered a traitor. But did you see the father? While the prince was getting beat the fuck up, you see the father just standing there just like this. And like he says that even the most advanced civilizations, even the most advanced countries have been taken down by barbarians. For example, the Romans. If you're familiar with Julius Caesar, you know I'm a history nerd. If you're familiar with Julius Caesar, the Roman Empire was one of the strongest empires there is, right? But like they even took defeat from the Shaka Zulu tribe. You know, a tribe in Africa, and the Zulu clan, the Zulu tribe. They took defeat who they were considered barbarians, and they actually won. And I find it strange that even the king, he used bloody inside this word. So like, there might be some origin that this king, if it's not the past, but this king uses like from British descent because he uses bloody in the opinion. He's like, I'm not bloody nowhere. What are you talking about? So like, it just shows that you can't mess with Japan in this episode. Basically, you can't mess with Japan. In any anime, we know Japan is the most dangerous place on earth. You can't mess with Japan. Like, they blew up the Senate to show them, everybody, that you can't mess with Japan. You can't go fucking around with Japan. Like, it just shows this in. Now, one last thing before I end this review is that the prisoner, the Japanese girl who got saved and rescued by Itami, I'm sorry. She got saved. So she was like brutally kidnapped. And there was two others. We know one of them died, but she managed that I can go home, and she wants to call her parents, but we see that her parents, they're not there. They actually like died. They're deceased because they were looking for her. She was I think she got kidnapped before like the whole events where the monsters and stuff came from the gate, and she got kidnapped, and her parents, like, during the confusion, most likely died. That's why they didn't want her to call them, and they want her to take some time off. So I wonder how she's going to deal with all this. Like, it doesn't look like she's too affected by the prince's rape, because I know the prince raped her, because you see the bunny girl. The bunny girl's like, she should be honored to have been chosen by you, or to choose you. So it most likely meant that the prince, that fucking bastard, raped her. So, like, this was the damn good episode of Gate, guys. Gate season 2. Like, episode 2 was a very interesting episode. It was a very deep and good episode. Like, Gate is like definitely one of those shows that I have to watch this season that I just love since I loved the first season. So, guys, tell me what your review has been. Vera from Otaku Logic.